You have to do everything you can just to make it work, even though you don't even have full confidence. You have to get uncomfortable, finally find your rhythm, which you eventually started finding that rhythm. You started off making all these YouTube videos. That's the issue with a lot of agents where it gets very scripted and they're like, let's do the TikToks, let's do the social media. And they come off very robotic videos. A lot of new agents trying to come into the industry, they have to kind of guinea pig and network to find where they're at. They might not fit within one team and they might fit within another team.
What's the deal with all those old school real estate agents teaching outdated marketing techniques and living in the past? This show is about fresh ideas in real estate, diving deep into marketing, design, home renovations, and business development. But we also talk about lifestyle, health, travel, and just living an incredible life. Because the fastest way to financial freedom and fun is through real estate. It's time to build up your real estate business, serve way more clients, and have a blast doing it. Welcome everyone to the show, One-on-One with Seth. And we're changing things up a little bit today. We have Esteban from the team here, and we're going to switch it up, and he's going to basically be doing a bit of an interview with me and asking me questions, but we're going to have some fun with it. We're going to be silly. We're going to be cackling. We're going to be giggling. We're going to be ourselves. And we're not going to just be talking about real estate today. We're going to be kind of getting to know us. And yeah, I hope you guys like it. It's going to be a good one.
No, I'm excited about it. We thought it would be good to get our Beyonce in on the camera, clear in the hot seat.
Yeah.
I know she doesn't do any interviews, so this is a very rare thing. So we have Kelly.
She's busy. She's busy. She's busy touring the world.
Exactly. We don't know where Michelle is at, but that's fine.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is all like basically to get to know you. And I guess we could just start back when you started real estate. Like, what got you into real estate? You were, 2016? You were 26 years old.
Yeah.
I was a fetus around that time. But how'd you start?
But it started in college. I originally wanted to be an architect, and I thought it'd be really cool to design, houses and blah, blah, blah. Then I realized, I'm going to have like a developer as a client, and I'm going to have to build what they say to build. And I felt like the creative outlet was kind of restricted at that point. I said, well, maybe I don't want to do that. Let's go into real estate. I think sales it didn't immediately grab me because I started off with flipping houses. And that was like my initial creative outlet. I was able to build things, do whatever I wanted. I had a business partner and we did really well and it was really fun. But it naturally just progressed into being in sales. And I was like, holy shit, like I actually know what I'm doing here. And I think a lot of it was not just being in sales. Like, you need to have a certain personality. I think you need to be gregarious. You need to be a go-getter. You need to think creative. You need to be resourceful. And I felt like I possessed those things and it just kind of worked. And, in the beginning, it was really just gritty. Like, just do whatever you can do to get a deal, and
an uphill battle.
Yeah, you just kind of do whatever. And you're kind of just figuring it out at a young age. You're like, do I do open houses? Do I door knock? Do I cold call my friends? Like, you just do whatever you can possibly do to kind of get it going. I feel like you did the exact same thing. I feel like, you jumped into it where you're like, I don't know what the hell I got to do, but I'm just going to do whatever I'm told. I just never work. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do everything you can just to make it work, even though you don't even have full confidence in it. Yeah, I was in open houses and my previous team leads would tell me to go on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
And talk to all like my uncles and tios and tias and just like,
hi people, look, I'm at an open house.
I'm in a house with my monkey suit on, trying to like sell this house and nobody's trying to buy.
No.
But you have to get uncomfortable to finally find your rhythm, which you eventually started finding that rhythm. You started off making all these YouTube videos.
Yeah. I think in real estate, you do have to kind of differentiate. You need to differentiate from the thousands of other people. And, my previous broker, we went to these Friday caravans and I'm like, man, we're looking at all these cool properties. Like, why isn't someone documenting this? Why isn't someone just like filming it on their phone? It's so simple. And so we came out with this little series called Fresh Friday and it was fun. I mean, I don't know what the hell I was doing. I was just filming shit and editing it, putting it online and being myself. And so, yes, you're putting out content. Yes, you're showing the audience what's new on the market, but they're also getting to know who you are.
Yeah.
And I think people, even if they hadn't met me before, they'd see me on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, and they're like, oh, I know who this guy is. Like, he's who I would want to work with. Or, he's fun or whatever.
Your personality shows. And
Yeah.
that's the issue with a lot of agents where it gets very scripted and they're like, let's do the TikToks, let's do the social media. And they come off very robotic, these videos.
Or genuine. There's no like authenticity to who they are. And again, that's a general statement, but like, I think it's critical to differentiate and just be yourself because no one else is you. And just be yourself. Just be yourself. People are going to gravitate towards you no matter what. So that's kind of my thing with that.
That's good. No, it's honestly when I don't know if, do you remember when we first met back in 2018?
So a rooftop and they're at a Mariah fundraiser.
So Mariah was this fundraiser that unfortunately was done because of COVID.
Yeah.
But it was a real estate fundraiser and surprisingly had nothing to do with Mariah Carey.
No, zero. Nothing to do with Mariah Carey.
The acronym also didn't even make sense it just didn't,
it's a long drawn out acronym and it was fun, but like, yes, it had its life. It was a great organization, but yeah, it died pretty much during COVID and reviving it was an uphill battle and it was impossible. So we've just dissolved it.
Well, I was invited over to one of the meetings or the events in like the summer, and that's when I met you. Do you remember you had the bangs around the?
Yeah, I had that was a cute look. The teaser look. Okay.
Yeah, you were very Euro.
I like pop in like a little photo, like it
was very Euro. It's like you're like in the underground radio.
Yeah, I was going through my Euro moment. Okay, like it was cute. It was real cute.
But I remember being there and kind of. Just going around talking to people, and then like it's very traditional, and you were kind of just like, I'm talking to people, I'm making these videos, and I saw it, and that's honestly what people see on a day-to-day basis when they look at your content.
Yeah, thanks. And honestly, like you came up to me, and I admired that. I was like, wow, Esteban's literally just going right up to me. He's like, hey, I've seen you online. I'd love to get coffee with you and connect. And I was like, wow, this guy's like actually go-getting. And same with Merrick too.
Yeah.
Merrick on our team. He's the same way. And so when I see that, I'm like, okay, these guys have what it takes to actually make it in this industry.
Yeah.
Because you are going to make cold calls to leads that you don't know. They may be warm, they may be cold, whatever, but they're going to be uncomfortable situations that you just have to put yourself into. And I think a lot of people, when they're getting into this business, they're just like, oh, selling Sunset. I'm just going to go to an open house and like get a client and sell a $10 million house.
I'm just going to put my high heels on.
Yeah. Mine don't fit anymore, but I was just like, that's not how it goes. Like it's very, very, very different. And I think you kind of have to be faced with the reality of this is a whole lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And you got to be consistent and you got to be uncomfortable and you got to be authentic. Otherwise, you're just going to kind of disappear in the background with everybody else.
And that's you bring up a good point because a lot of new agents trying to come into the industry, they have to kind of guinea pig and network to find where they're at. They might not fit within one team and they might fit within another team. And I think that was it when I was with you. I was part of a different brokerage, which was very nice. They were very lovely. They
Lovely.
They got me started and it was nice and dandy. But but eventually I was just like, something's got to give.
Yeah.
And that's when I met you guys. And it took me a while because at first, it's hard to jump brokerages. At least for me, I thought it was. And it all makes sense. Like, for people who don't really believe they're in the right place, you have to keep going around. At least give it 90 days.
Yeah. I mean, you got to find your tribe and you got to really relate to the people you're going to be working with. Granted, yes, you're an independent contractor, you're your own business, but you got to be around people you enjoy. I mean, our office is a great example. I love our office. Todd's team is really great. We all have a lot of similar vibes and characteristics, but we're all different in our own ways. But it's a nice, fun, enjoyable office. But then there's some other teams that are stark different and it's really uncomfortable, and I know I would never fit in there.
Exactly. It's also our office is mainly gay people.
Yeah.
With the exception of two.
Gay people. Questionable, maybe.
No,
actually, Alan is definitely very straight.
No, they're straight. The other one has a wife, so I don't think we're gonna.
Oh yeah, not gonna turn those ones.
But it's it's that tribe because before I was just kind of in this Orange North County team, and I was the only gay guy there, which is you feel powerful, but it's kind of
powerful.
You're just interesting.
Yeah, you're just the most interesting person in the room. You're gay? Oh my god! Hi.
What'd you do? And I was out with the kids, just at a playground.
Cute. I was at a club till 3 a.m. That's awesome.
Yeah. Which actually brings me to another point. Where two parts. Where do you typically get all your clients? And then second question is like, where's like the most random place you've gotten a client from? Or like fun, let's see.
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, we did a lot of the online social media stuff. So a lot of my initial clients were coming from our Instagram and Facebook ads. And those worked really well. You know, for a good 3-4 years, I was like, this is my base. You know, and then those people turned into repeat clients or referrals, and that's kind of how it grew. And then, over time, I think my friends eventually were like, okay, Seth is hustling. He's actually doing very well. I'm going to either work with him or refer him. And so a lot of it comes from the social media ads, and it comes from friends, like sphere of influence.
Starting with that, and then over time
it gets better, and then those people who bought, then they sell, and it just builds that funnel even more and more and more. And like, it's extremely difficult to start in real estate and be like, I did 50 deals. Like that's literally 1 in a million.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very difficult to do that. And unless you have like some sort of lead gen pipeline, something coming in, that's not going to happen.
Well, we always get people like that, like slide our DMs and kind of be like, hey, I want to be a real estate agent. And we kind of just have to do one of those double takes. It's just like, do you want to be an agent, or does it look like fun?
Yeah. Just because you like houses doesn't mean that you want to be a real estate agent.
Just because you're pretty doesn't mean you're going to be a good real estate agent.
No, it don't. It might, but no, probably not.
It'll help.
It'll help a lot. But the weirdest thing, okay, so this was actually really funny. And they've become friends of mine, but they reached out to me. I'm not going to name them, but these two guys were moving here. They reached out to me and like, hey, one of our friends who I had no idea who they were said that, you're a great real estate agent and you've worked with our friend. And I'm like, nope, I don't know that person and I have no idea who they are. And so we ended up working together. And I mean, they bought a place out of state. They were not living here, and it worked out really well. And they've now bought another place with me. And it was just like a really random fluke of a thing. And you get those sometimes, you're like, I know you've had like some crazy people online, but you're like, okay, whatever.
Well, like, somebody just randomly reached out, supposedly found me on Google one time, and then like, and then like to this day I still work with. I'm like, they're working on purchasing a second property.
Yes.
It's those things where like you kind of like, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the social media, all that stuff, and you're like, is it really working?
Yeah.
This shit, and then eventually it does. You can't really measure it a lot.
Yeah, the Google one was, I remember that was in the office, we were buzzing about it. We're like Google, like they found you on Google?
Yeah.
That's very old school. Like,
yeah, literally.
And it worked.
My name was pretty, so I was just like,
they're like, you're cute. I'm going to work with you. Oh, and you're actually really good at what you do too.
Yeah, right.
Got it. Okay, you got to being pretty to help, I guess. You got to execute on it.
Hey there. If you like this episode or want a real estate connection in San Diego, find me on Instagram and subscribe so you don't miss any of these fun episodes. See you next time.